Right, so we're halfway across the road. You can see for yourself, I think, that the road dips down here quite, I wouldn't say it was steep, but it's quite noticeable that there's a small valley. That's because there is the River Tyburn here, the valley of the River Tyburn, which has now sunk deeply underneath the ground. The River Tyburn rises in Hampstead and it flows down past Marylebone and then through Mayfair, and then it flows by Buckingham Palace and eventually it empties into the River Thames. Now over here on the right, behind this bus, which is just in the way, is a building known as the Ins and Outs, and it was originally one of the homes of Viscount Palmerston, the Prime Minister to Queen Victoria, and it was also the home of the Duke of Cambridge, who was Queen Victoria's cousin and head of the army at that time. Now what we're doing is having come all the way from east to west, we're going to walk from west to east, just so we can get a better view on the site that I've just passed by. So this is Half Moon Street. Named after a pub that was actually here called the Half Moon many years ago. And what we'll do now, as I say, is just carry on walking now from west to east, back up towards Piccadilly Circus. Just talking a bit about the various sites along the way. Clarges Street, Green Park over on the right. I've told you this before, but I can tell you again, Green Park, because supposedly there are no flowers in Green Park, because Catherine of Braganza found Charles II picking flowers for one of his mistresses, and she gave direct instructions that all the flowers were to be uprooted, and there have never been flowers there. Well, there are flowers there actually now. They're daffodils, and they come out in the spring. Right, so here is Bolton Street. And we'll be going past Devonshire House again. Now, Devonshire House has had actually several incarnations. It was Berkeley House originally. It was built for Lord Berkeley of Stratton, who was a supporter of King Charles II and also secured a victory at a place called Stratton, which is in Cornwall, in the Civil War, and he was rewarded with this strip of land off Piccadilly to build himself a home, and the grounds extended from here all the way down to what is now Berkeley Square. This is Stratton Ground. And eventually the grounds were sold off to make Berkeley Square, and this became Devonshire House for the Dukes of Devonshire, the Cavendish family, and they were here right through the Victorian period and the Edwardian period, but after the First World War they moved out. The house was pulled down and the gateway removed, as I've explained. and they had this new building went up, and it was opened in 1926. Now across the way, again, there's a lot of building work going on. You've got the Ritz Hotel, many royal associations here. This is where Edward the Seventh used to come and dine with his mistress, a lady called Capel, who happened to be the ancestor of our present Queen, Queen Camilla. Now from here you get a clear idea of the French style here. This is actually modelled on the Rue de Rivoli in Paris. Yes. You go to Paris, you'll see immediately it's the same sort of building. Now in the restaurant of the Ritz Hotel, Edward the Seventh, before he became, sorry, Edward the Eighth, before he became Edward the Eighth, he was the Prince of Wales. He met Wallace Simpson in the restaurant of the Ritz Hotel, and that was the love affair that eventually prompted his abdication in 1936 and the handing over of the throne to King George VI.
Best holiday ever.
So it's nice to come out into London on a day like this. People are obviously getting prepared for Christmas, which is great. Dover Street down here may have some connection with the Treaty of Dover, which was a secret agreement between King Charles II and his cousin Louis XIV. He got a lot of money from Louis XIV, quite surreptitiously and without the knowledge of the Duke of Clarendon, who, much to his annoyance, actually the Duke of Clarendon went off in disgrace. Anyway, there we are. So, site of Clarendon House here on the left. Old Clarendon House, I say it's no longer Clarendon House there. And as you come down here, you can see over on the right St James's Street, and this area is called Mayfair. So from here, over on the other side of the road, you can see the Piccadilly Arcade. You've got the Burlington Arcade on this side. We'll take a closer look at that. And you can also see Fortnum and Mason. Okay. Now, Burlington Arcade is still patrolled by a beadle. I have to say, a man who's in a uniform who walks up and down and prevents people and says they can't whistle or run or behave in any unseemly manner. And I suspect that injunction also applies to videos. That may be him over on the left. So I won't go in, I won't annoy them, there's no point in annoying them, but this is to give you some impression of Burlington Arcade, which was opened up in the 1820s, I think, as a very exclusive shopping mall. That's really what it is, but one of the very earliest in the whole of London. And it's right next to Burlington House. So you had the Earl of Burlington. This was his London home, and it was taken over by the Royal Academy when it was opened in 1768. First president of the Royal Academy was King George III. King George III did everything he could to promote talent in his subjects, and he was also very interested in promoting British painting, British artists. So they created the Royal Academy, which is just down here, it's on the left, and you can go into the Royal Academy and you can see for yourself the various paintings that are now on display. You shan't go in there, but it's worth having a look at the courtyard. And right in the centre here we have a statue of Joshua Reynolds, or Sir Joshua Reynolds, who wrote discourses on the art of painting. So he was a man who basically laid down the laws of what painting should and should not be. So this is going back into the 18th century. The British were very late in cultivating painting as an art form. That was really the best people in Europe. If you wanted a picture painted, you wanted to go to the Italians or the Dutch. British not so much until the 18th century. Then suddenly we had this outburst of the most profusion of talents. We had Sir Joshua Reynolds for a start, then we had William Hogarth, then we had Gainsborough, and then of course we had Turner and Constable. So suddenly there was this explosion of talent in the 18th century. Now also down here, the Royal Society of Chemistry and the Royal Astronomical Society and the Society of Antiquaries. There were many learned bodies that were also accommodated here in the 18th century. So it was a bit of a university as well. Right, so we'll go down here and see what, I won't actually go any further up towards the building itself, but if you're visiting London, that's something you might like to do. If there's something on display here, Burlington House, historic award-winning central London location, impressive architecture. Doesn't tell you what they're showing, but that's, never mind, that's too bad. Oh yes, James Marshall, The Histories, whatever that is. So there, as I say, over on the right hand side, Fortnum and Mason's. You can also see right above it the Fortnum and Mason clock, and on the hour, as I say, at 3 o'clock, which is what, in about 40 minutes time, the doors of those will open, and mechanical figures representing Mr. Fortnum and Mr. Mason will emerge, and then they'll turn around and bow to each other, and then they'll turn around again and they'll go back into their boxes. What are they showing here? Society of Antiquaries. The world-renowned library. Okay. Oh, now then, here you can. This is worth pointing out. I almost forgot the Albany, ladies and gentlemen, originally the home of the Duke of York and Albany. That was Frederick. That was the man at the top of the column, which you've just seen. Duke of York and Albany, the younger brother of George the IV. And Albany was he ran into debt a lot and eventually had to give up this house, and it was turned over to make bachelor apartments. So if you said you had rooms in the Albany, that was considered to be extremely fashionable and stylish. Anyway, this is the Albany. Right, let's turn around. And Hatchard's bookshop there, I think I've covered already, with the royal crest to indicate that it has royal patronage. They supply books to the royal household. Oh.
So hopefully.
Right. Oh, here, now this is the Institute for the Painters in Watercolours. So once upon a time, not now of course, but this is where we had the famous artists who represented here. And there we have the BAFTA Awards are presented Maison Assouline. So there we have it, St James's Church again.
I bought this on eBay and I'm going to bloody use it.
Right, well we're almost back to where we started, not quite, still got a little way to go. A lot of building work going on here. Cafe Concerto. Now the buildings around here over on the left really form part of the quadrant in Regent Street, and I'll do Regent Street, or the main part of Regent Street, on another occasion. I won't go up Regent Street today because really there's just no end to it. You keep on going up Regent Street, then you'll get into Oxford Street and so forth. So I want to cut this video short. We've been on transmitting now since 19 minutes, which I think is quite long enough. And that's Waterstones again. Actually, that shop front, though, when that was built, that was considered extremely remarkably advanced when the building went up in the 1920s. So that style of architecture, and having those broad windows to allow light to enter the building. So here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We're almost back towards Piccadilly Circus. This is Eyre Street. takes you into Soho. We'll do Soho again. We'll do Soho, actually. I've gone on another occasion. Won't do it now. This is the site here on the left of Swan and Edgar. They have the most excellent frontage. You couldn't wish for a better place to position a shop. But they shut down in 1982, as I recall. And here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. We've now returned to Piccadilly Circus. And what else can I say? Well, I can just turn around and I can say thank you very much indeed if you've been with me all this time, and ask you, will you be so kind as to click and like and share and leave comments below letting me know what you've enjoyed or what you haven't enjoyed, so that I know, get some better idea about what other things to produce. But what I'm trying to do, as you can see with this, is to show you what London looks like now in 2025, just to give you an idea of the streets of London as you find them. So anyway, I'll say over and out for the time being, and I look forward to seeing you again very shortly. Over and out. Bye.